In today's economy, you've got two massive forces really shaping everything. On one hand, you have the super fast tech giants, the ones empowering you to go build your own thing. And on the other, you have these huge financial institutions whose job is to secure a whole nation's future. So, which path is the one that's going to define where we're headed? Let's dive in and figure it out. This quote right here just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures the central conflict we're all living through. You've got the agentic internet, which is really just a fancy way of saying explosive, world-changing AI growth, pulling us forward at an insane speed. But at the same time, you've got this massive global push for institutional decarbonization, basically a demand for stability, for sustainability. It's like a tug of war. So how would you possibly win when the rules of the game are pulling you in two completely different directions? To really understand this, let's look at our two main characters in the story. In one corner, you've got GoDaddy, the engine of ambition, right? Powering the dreams of 20 million entrepreneurs. And in the other corner, you have Ilmarinen, a massive Finnish pension fund. They're the bedrock of stability for over 1 million people. We're talking two completely different missions, but both are operating on an absolutely incredible scale. Okay, so let's kick things off with GoDaddy. Their entire business model, their whole reason for being, is built on giving regular people the tools they need to build something of their own and chase their own version of success in this digital world. And let's be clear, this is not a small-time operation. We're talking about a $5 billion revenue figure for 2025. This isn't some niche company. GoDaddy is a massive, dominant force in the global ecosystem for small businesses. But it's not just that big revenue number that's so impressive. Dig a little deeper. Yeah, revenue is up a solid 8%, that's great. But look at their free cash flow. It jumped a whopping 19%. That tells you they are running an incredibly efficient machine. And on top of that, the average amount of money they make per user is climbing, which means they're getting their customers to use more and more of their most powerful tools. Really smart. So how are they pulling this off? Well, a huge piece of their strategy is this idea they call the agentic web. Now, it sounds a little techy, but the concept is pretty straightforward. Imagine an internet where smart AI agents just handle the complicated stuff for you. Running marketing campaigns, handling customer service, all of it, almost automatically. This frees up entrepreneurs to focus on what they're actually passionate about. And listen, this isn't some far-off dream for the future. It is happening right now. Almost half, 49%, of all micro-businesses in the US are already using AI. And just a year earlier, that number was only 25%. The adoption rate is just skyrocketing, creating this huge market that GoDaddy is positioning itself to lead. This chart right here shows you exactly why GoDaddy's core business is still so important. We hear all this talk about selling on social media, right? But look at the data. Where do most entrepreneurs actually make their sales? On their own website. At 56%, it's more than double the next channel. It is their digital home base, and it's more critical than ever. Behind all these billions of dollars and data points are real people. People like Nika. She lost her job, which is just a devastating experience, but she took her passion for baking and started Nika's Cupcake Bar online. For her, it wasn't just about making money. It was about getting control of her life back, about finding purpose again. That's the ambition, the human story that GoDaddy is fueling. Okay, so we've seen the world of individual ambition. Now let's do a complete 180 and pivot to collective security. We're turning to Ilmarinen, a pension fund that is literally responsible for the financial future of a huge part of the entire nation of Finland. And the numbers here are just staggering. It's hard to even wrap your head around. At the end of 2025, Ilmarinen was managing 67.5 billion euros. This isn't just a company, it's a financial bedrock for an entire country. And they are exceptionally good at their job. Getting an 8.1% return on a portfolio this massive is a huge success. That's over 5 billion euros in gains in a single year. Their stock investments in particular did incredibly well, returning over 10%. This just proves that stability and security don't have to mean slow and stagnant. And it is so important to remember why this all matters. Every single euro of that 67.5 billion is tied to a real person's future retirement. This is the financial safety net for over 1.1 million people. The weight of that responsibility is just immense. Now, here's where things get really fascinating. Ilmarinen sees a direct connection between that financial security and taking action on climate. They set a goal to reduce the carbon intensity of their investments by 30%. And they didn't just meet it, they absolutely blew past it, achieving a 68% reduction. It's powerful proof that you can get great returns while aggressively decarbonizing. And they aren't slowing down, they're doubling down. Their new climate plan is even more ambitious. They're pushing for even deeper cuts to the carbon footprint of their stocks, bonds, and real estate. For them, managing climate risk is absolutely central to their core mission of protecting those pensions for the long, long term. So, okay, we've looked at two very different organizations, and both of them are incredibly successful. So now let's bring their stories together and see what they teach us about what it really takes to be resilient in the world today. So what's the big takeaway here? In a world that's being completely reshaped by technology on one side and climate change on the other, what does a truly successful, resilient organization even look like anymore? This really captures the two sides of resilience perfectly, doesn't it? GoDaddy represents that agile, tech-driven model. It's all about individual empowerment, about actively building the future. Ilmarinen is the opposite. It embodies the stable, long-term model. It's about collective security, about guaranteeing the future. The reality is, a healthy economy needs both. And you can see this difference perfectly in how they each approach sustainability. GoDaddy is focused on its own house, right? They're working to slash their direct operational emissions. That's things like the electricity powering their massive data centers. Ilmarinen, as this huge investor, has to take a much broader view. Their job is to decarbonize their entire €67.5 billion portfolio. Two different approaches, but both are tailored perfectly to their unique missions. So here we are. We're in a world where AI is building our future at a breathtaking pace, while at the exact same time climate change is fundamentally altering it. So the question we're left with is this: which form of resilience is going to matter more? The agile engine of ambition, or the stable bedrock of security? Or is the real answer that we absolutely cannot survive without both?